I want to thank the True Royal family for this story. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you would figure people that were the Egyptians wouldn't even need sunscreen. You know, they should do exactly what their ancients did back in the day in Egypt to keep themselves from burning. But they keep putting on this very toxic sunscreen that doesn't even work, by the way. Most of the sunscreens on the shelf don't work, and they are all toxic. Okay. So, keeping that in mind, why would you want to put that on? I believe all sunscreen in America should be banned because it's harmful for the coral reefs. Now, my subscribers, if you agree with me, let me know in the comment section if you agree that all sunscreen should be banned and should not be on the shelf because it is harming the environment. Key West bans sunscreen containing chemicals believed to be harmful to the coral reefs. And we know this is impacting when they go in the water and they start swimming around. Well, all of that toxic sunscreen comes off of their skin and goes into the ocean. And from there, it impacts the coral reef. So, again, to my subscribers, let me know whether you believe all sunscreens that are harmful to coral reefs should be banned. All right. So this woman that you're looking at is a beachgoer in Key West. And the two ingredients contained in sunscreen that they want to ban is oxybenzone and octinoxate. Those two ingredients are believed to cause damage to our precious coral reefs. Key West, the sunny city at the southernmost tip of Florida, voted this week to ban the sale of sunscreen containing chemicals believed to harm coral reefs. Now, if you remember, I did a story on this, but it was for Hawaii, where they also did a sunscreen ban. The law's supporters see it as a crucial step towards protecting the great treasures of the Florida Keys. The world's third largest barrier reef ecosystem, which runs nearly 150 miles, hosts thousands of species of marine life, and attracts divers and snorkelers from around the globe. See, that's all the more reason why it should be banned. Ban sunscreen. Ban sunscreen. The measure, which the city commission approved Tuesday in a 6-1 vote, will ban sales of sunscreens containing the chemical oxybenzone and octinoxate. The legislation will go into effect on January 2021. Nah, it should go into effect now. It should go into effect now. We're going to have a super hot summer and people are going to be in that water with sunscreen on. That's not right. That's not fair to the coral reefs. It ain't fair. It should go into effect now. No sunscreen. Get all that mess off the shelves. Our coral has been under attack by a number of stressors, Mayor Terry Johnston said. Now, see, even the mayor is telling you, you are putting the coral reef under stress with all that sunscreen on. Take it off. Get off of the beach. Throw all that sunscreen in the trash. The coral reefs are more important. We just thought if there was one thing we could do to take one of the stressors away, it was our responsibility to do so. That's right. It's your responsibility not to put on sunscreen. Let the coral reefs live. Over the last year, the state of Hawaii and the Western Pacific nation of Palau have also restricted sunscreen sales to protect otherworldly coral reefs. Parts of Mexico also ban non biodegradable sunscreen. Hawaii's laws ban the same chemicals as Key West, and it takes effect on the same date. No, y'all need to move that up. 2019. 2019. In Palau, 10 chemicals are prohibited, a list that could grow. I think y'all need to go by Palau's standard, ban 10 chemicals, not just two. Two ain't enough. You need 10. Ms. Johnston said that people with medical prescriptions would be exempt from the ban, and that the first offense would be met with a warning. The second offense would incur fines that are still to be determined. Yeah, I think y'all should slap $1 million fines because, once you kill the coral reefs, they can't come back. So $1 million fines for anybody caught with sunscreen once this goes into effect. She added that the reef was crucial to both the environmental and the tourism driven local economy. So the National Park Service says that 4,000 to 6,000 tons of sunscreen enter reef areas each year. Now, see why y'all doing that to the coral reefs? That don't make no sense. You want to take 4 to 6 tons of sunscreen and then go snorkel around the coral reefs. See, that's what happens when you don't care about nobody but yourself. Care about the coral reefs first. And the studies found that the chemicals they contain can damage coral reefs, contributing to bleaching and death. Now, why would you want to bleach and then cause death to the coral reefs? Let them stay colorful and beautiful and alive. Coral reefs also face grave danger from global warming, but the bill's supporters argue that sunscreen is easily controlled by individuals. The Park Service and environmental groups recommend wearing protective clothing and opting for sunscreens that are labeled eco-friendly. Hawaii published a list of sunscreens. We don't want to see that. Considered to be reef safe. We don't want to see that, y'all. We don't want to see that. But some dermatologists and trade groups have opposed the bans, arguing that more research is necessary and that banning sunscreen could lead to higher skin cancer rates. These doctors don't know what they're talking about. Just ignore them. Ignore them. Y'all have a long history of being in Egypt and not getting burnt. So surely you can figure out how to be out in the hot sun with no sunscreen on. You've already got a history of it from being in Egypt. So how can you survive that hot Egypt sun, but you can't figure out how to make it without sunscreen now? That doesn't make any sense. If that makes sense to anybody, put that in the comment section. Sunscreen manufacturers have disputed the claims about the dangers to coral reefs. Well, let them dispute it. They're wrong. It is damaging the coral reef. No sunscreen. In July, an article in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology reviewed the available research and concluded that further investigation is needed. They don't know what they're talking about. Don't listen to them. Y'all need to take off that sunscreen and save the coral reef. Don't listen to these people. In a news release about the paper, the American Academy of Dermatology reiterated that skin cancer was the most common cancer in the United States and that people should protect themselves with sunscreen and protective clothing and staying out of the sun. So there you go. Just put on protective clothing and go in the water that way with your protective clothing on. You don't need sunscreen. Ms. Johnson said there were many sunscreens available without those two ingredients. She said she hoped that the ban would push bigger manufacturers to make and market more eco-friendly sunscreens. Yeah, I mean, you make it without those ingredients and they kind of water it down to make it lighter, you know? It's too thick and it just doesn't feel good. Maybe a nice watery down lighter sunscreen, very watered down. That might be the best thing. Or again, go to what you did in Egypt and start living by that again. Just a suggestion. Just a suggestion. I'm not a medical doctor. It's just a suggestion. She added that the local government, in coordination with local nonprofits like Reef Relief, would embark on a public education campaign before the law took effect. So they are banning certain sunscreens that are on the shelf. So y'all need to look for an eco-friendly sunscreen or go back to what you did in Egypt and implement that for yourself and your families. Is that unreasonable to ask? I don't understand how you can be the Egyptians and you don't know how to deal with the sun. If you look at pictures of Egypt, it's out in the open desert. There are no abundance of trees around there. So you were out in the open and those pyramids are out in the open. There's no trees all around there that populations could just get under. So go back to what the ancients did and maybe, consider an eco-friendly sunscreen or leave sunscreen alone and just put on some protective clothing. But I think the coral reefs need to be saved. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.